to prevent gun violence, I'll only answer to you.
Name one thing that's better today than it was a decade ago.
I'm not captive to the far left or the far right.
So it's election season, right? You've seen the political ads. We're headed towards the midterms. And in some parts of the state, mostly southern Oregon, a number of people have reported folks knocking on their door and asking questions, looking for any evidence of voter fraud. One person said it was actually pretty intimidating. In fact, the county clerk in Klamath County put out a press release warning about citizens going door to door, asking questions like if you voted or how you voted.
I wanted to make it clear that they were not from our office and that if you don't feel comfortable answering the questions, you don't have to. Now, if you want to, that's fine, but they are not from our office. We don't go door to door. We don't ask you how you voted.
It's concerning for a couple of reasons. One, people might be fooled. Election officials, they don't do this. They don't go door to door asking people to sign affidavits. And two, they shouldn't be asking how you voted. It's private. It's none of their business. You don't need to answer those questions. What's happening here is loosely connected to a national campaign. It's been covered elsewhere.
Complaints are emerging about conservative canvassing groups allegedly going door to door looking for proof of fraud.
Basically, it's people hunting door to door looking for evidence that the 2020 election was stolen, which, to be clear, it wasn't. Nearly a year and a half after the 2020 election, there's no widespread voter fraud found anywhere in the United States. Despite that, there are these groups claiming to be election integrity groups going door to door. So far, election officials have received reports from Klamath, Douglas, Lane, and Columbia counties. Often there's an official-looking document or affidavit that people going door to door are filling out. Somebody in Roseburg, for instance, they sent me this one. You can see it talks about penalty of perjury. Again, it looks very official, but it's not. Oregon Secretary of State said there's no process in Oregon for a third party to challenge a voter's registration. Only elected officials can do that.
Audits are done by our 36 county clerks using very objective, rigorous criteria to verify the outcome of elections here in Oregon. Those are audits. What these folks are doing is simply out trying to gather data in an unofficial way. And then unfortunately, we're seeing reports of people misusing that data to try to continue to spread the big lie. Of course, the election in 2020 was safe and secure in all 50 states. There's simply no evidence that there was anything amiss or that that election was stolen from Donald Trump.
So who's behind this, specifically in Oregon? The Secretary of State couldn't point to any one person or group. Again, it's happening all over the country. NBC News did a story on the canvassing effort in Washington State and actually spoke with the guy who's behind that effort.
Glenn Morgan, a conservative activist, saying he founded the organization last year to clean up the state's voter rolls.
We have about 350 volunteers in the state, and it's pretty widespread. Of the 39 counties, we have about 23 of them with doorbelling teams.
To combat this misinformation, election officials in Oregon have launched basically their own campaign, trying to emphasize that elections are secure.
Oregon keeps voter registration lists updated, and all counties do post-election audits before the Secretary of State certifies the results. What is this tingly feeling?
So I'm not exactly sure what that is, but point being, heading into the midterms, election officials really want to caution people about folks going door to door, especially if they're pushing this misinformation about election fraud. It creates distrust in the system. But also, canvassing, it's part of our tradition. It's part of democracy. That idea of a candidate coming to your doorstep, introducing themselves. And the last thing they would want is for voters to feel intimidated or confused by people questioning the right to vote.